freedom has been undercut with our current government, and Trump might bring a relief so we can get our freedom back.
Brazil's Supreme Court banned Twitter after Elon Musk reportedly didn't comply with demands from the High Court. Musk alleged the demands were illegal and amounted to censorship. The tech entrepreneur might now become part of the next Trump administration.
I think Elon Musk will be a great help for Trump in the area of communication. He's a great entrepreneur, a great businessman, and I think he will bring good results.
Trump will, of course, take over the role as president for the second time. Can he improve compared to his first term?
I think he has more power now, with the majority in the Senate, and he won't be dealing with the pandemic.
Republicans won the majority in the Senate on Wednesday. They could also stay in power in the House, but it's too early to call as of Wednesday afternoon. Reporting in Brazil, Arian Pastar, NTD News.
Know them firsthand. Our freedom of thought is the price. This is the lesson that guides us of a free society. And we take seriously the responsibility to preserve it.
Has won the 2024 presidential elections. And this is being framed as the greatest political movement of all time by him. And we also seen a lot of changes in the numbers across the country with what's looking like a big red shift. We actually saw shifts even within like most states. Even New York, even New Jersey saw kind of new voters going Republican. This was a pretty monumental night, and one that, hey, the polls did not predict, right? But folks, first on this historic win, the race was called for former President Donald Trump, now President-elect Donald Trump, and it was early this morning. Now, you might remember, of course, it was looking like he was going to win last night. You could say it was like, 267. It was looking like almost without a doubt he was going to have it, but you never know these days. That was overcome this morning. He took a new swing state. That put him over the 270 Electoral College votes he needs to win. And that last state to come in that, flipped it, that's Wisconsin. Republicans also gained control of the U.S. Senate. And that means, of course, at least they're going to have the Senate, the presidency, and, of course, the Supreme Court. The House of Representatives is actually still unknown, but they might take that too. There's actually a good chance Republicans could also take the House. And Trump basically won or is projected to win every swing state. This is monumental, folks. We're also seeing actually shifts in some other states that could suggest we could see new swing states next time around. That is, if Republicans can maintain this momentum. Virginia was looking pretty close at a few different points. It actually looked like Trump was going to win it at a few points. Ended up not happening. New Jersey as well. New Jersey, actually, it was interesting early voting. It was swinging Republican quite a few times. New Jersey actually was not a major win for Democrats. New Jersey could become, something on the table in future elections. It was interesting as well. Florida. Florida used to be a swing state, as you might remember. Florida, Miami-Dade had just a huge shift. Miami-Dade, where you have a lot of Latino voters, just went like hard Trump. And a lot of people would not have seen that coming, right? They were saying that it looks like Latino voters are turning to Trump. Remember that there were radio stations, right, Spanish language radio stations going up. Soros and his system bought them. And it looked like there was kind of a battle for Latino voters. It seemed that Democrats were kind of hedging their bets on, Trump's, policy to try to deport all the illegal immigrants. If that was going to swing them, it actually seemed to have had the opposite effect. A lot of the ones who were eligible to vote seem to prefer Trump, actually. It's been an interesting shift. He's also looked like he's going to take the popular vote. Big shift as well. We will need to wait for the final numbers to come through, especially in California, to see if that's really going to be the case. But if Trump wins the popular vote, it technically doesn't change anything. Like, he's going to win either way at this point, it seems. But that would be big in terms of just what it represents for the country, right? That'd be the first time a Republican could potentially win the popular vote since George W. Bush back in 2004. And this is what's looking like really historic early high turnout on this, right? Now, back to the Electoral College map and the all-important swing states. Again, it looks like Trump could win them all, every
He
single
did.
swing state. And Trump declared his victory in a speech late last night, around 2:30 a.m. in the morning. He spoke for about half an hour. I was up pretty late watching it, actually. I'm sure some of you were too. Let me show you what he had to say. Watch this.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much. Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. Help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country.
Now, I know the different takes on this. Some people say, well, Trump promises a lot of things, but, last time it didn't happen. I think it's going to be different this time, and here's why. Remember what happened, why a lot of Trump's policies were not implemented in the end, including, finishing building the wall. When Trump came in back in 2016, what was the state? Well, he had technically Republicans had the House and the Senate. Remember, actually, Trump came in back in 2016 to a supermajority. They didn't have the Supreme Court technically, but they still had a supermajority. At the time, though, a lot of Republicans did not really support Trump. And many of them blocked him. There were attempts to remove him. There was the whole Trump-Russia scandal. And, of course, that kind of opposition within the Republicans carried on to the midterms. In the midterms, a lot of Republicans who were then kind of ostracized by the party, labeled as rhinos, Republicans in name only, many of them were pushed out. A lot of them did not run for re-election. And what happened? Trump endorsed new candidates, new Republicans who represented a kind of new Republican Party. And, given the fact that he did that, what happened? Well, a lot of the old guard Republicans went to the Democrats. That ended up kind of changing the nature of the Democratic Party. The Democrats united with the old Republican Party of the Bush-era Republicans. And Trump came to represent more of like a MAGA party, right? Then you had the rise, of course, of the Freedom Caucus much later. And it seemed that Trump's ideas kind of had reshaped the Republican Party into something new. Some people have suggested that had Trump not won this time, the Republican Party could potentially reverse to like Bush era. But if he wins this time, which he just did, it could solidify this new shift within the Republican Party. And given the fact that the party is very from back in 2016, this could mean that Trump could actually implement a lot of what he planned to do. He was blocked, again, by his own party. He was blocked by scandals, Trump, Russia, and the whole 9 yards, the investigations, the impeachments, and everything else, right? This time around, he's coming in understanding that. This time around, of course, he's not facing opposition within his own party. And this time around, he could be a lot stronger on this. I do think, given this shift that has taken place politically, Trump very likely will implement a lot of what he says he's going to do. And again, the reason he did not do that before is because he was blocked by his own party. And then, of course, the Democrats, came in and blocked him as well. Trump also talked a lot about the border last night and just in general, right? Remember, he stated in his campaign he wants to carry out mass deportations of illegal immigrants. And he also wants to bring the border back under control. Watch this.
We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally.
Now, what's really interesting with the mass deportation policy is that, while the media has mostly framed it as extreme, right? They frame this as like one of the most extreme things he could possibly do. If you look at polling among voters, mass deportations is even relatively supported among some of the Democrats. It is not as a politically divisive topic as many people initially believed it would be. A lot of people say, well, how is he going to do it? He laid out the plan for it, the Alien and Sedition Act. And of course, the Alien Enemies Act of that, which has been in place since almost the founding of the United States. Something very solid, something that, again, has been legally challenged through the entire history of the United States and has maintained its legality through that. Trump actually does have a legal pathway to do it, and he found it. On that note, it is interesting that he's saying he's going to create a pathway for people to return to the United States, but they have to come legally. Very likely, I think what's going to happen is they're probably going to finish building the wall, right? They probably will finish it. If you compare the cost of that to the amount of money we're giving to every country around the world, it's not that much by comparison. And also, very likely, there will be stronger migration policies. And also, Trump is threatening, sanctions and tariffs against Mexico if they, allow mass migration through. Mexico actually has been able to hold off some of the waves of the migrant caravans that were coming into the U.S., and a lot of those have been delayed up till now. And so they do have the ability to stop the flow. There is a chance also we could see a return of Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, where people trying to apply for asylum have to wait in Mexico. According to asylum programs, you're supposed to seek asylum in the first safe country you reach. Technically, they're coming up through Latin America. That would be Mexico. And so legally, even by international law, that would be a legally acceptable case. In fact, that would technically be the legal case because you're supposed to apply for amnesty in the first safe country. That would also help alleviate the problem they have of people who are kind of gaming the amnesty system. Those who legitimately are seeking amnesty will still have a path to do it. And again, the difference will be they have to wait in Mexico rather than the United States, right? That's going to be the big difference. On that note as well, the policy ended up not being as divisive among Latinos who are eligible to vote. And I think Democrats really gained a lot on thinking that was going to be one of the big battleground issues, and it turned out not to be for many people. We will see where this goes. You do have these caravans still heading to the United States. The other side of the argument is also that we've now seen the difference in border policy. Prior to the building of the wall, what was the situation? Well, America had mass illegal immigration. People were coming, they were crossing illegally, and so on. Then Trump built the wall. Then what happened? Well, Democrats came to office, and they just began facilitating entry through the wall, leaving the gates open, facilitating it, and so on. Which has left Americans with the impression that mass migration was actually not an illegal immigration issue. It was actually something that was desired by certain people. Also a big shift, Elon Musk, who might actually head up the new DOGE department. That's the Department of Government Efficiency. That's going to be coming out as well. And at least Trump is saying he's going to do it. We'll see if it takes shape. But Elon Musk has been a big figure.
Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. He spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia, different parts of Pennsylvania, campaigning.
Elon Musk kind of came out of nowhere, I think, for a lot of people, and ended up playing a pretty pivotal role in the election. Again, after buying Twitter and then renaming it X, Elon Musk has taken a pretty strong stand for free speech. Prior to that, Elon Musk was regarded as more like a libertarian. A lot of people didn't think he was really right or left. For Democrats, of course, he was like the electric car guy, and given the fact that they want electric cars, Elon Musk was kind of viewed in light of that. The savior for the green future, kind of. He did come out very strong in favor of Trump, his biggest issues being, of course, Second Amendment rights, the right to bear arms, and, of course, free speech. And as soon as Elon Musk bought Twitter, then changed it to X, Elon Musk began facing a lot of political attacks himself, to the extent that Elon Musk said that he believed that if Trump did not get elected, he would go to jail. We will need to wait and see how Elon's potential role, though, in the government shakes out. But that's going to be big, too. Because if Elon Musk is in fact appointed as the new head of government efficiency, this could mean that Elon could replicate what he did to Twitter. You might remember what happened. Elon Musk bought Twitter, and then he fired like 80% of the employees. Some say like 85 or 90%. And after doing that, made Twitter, operating on a much smaller budget, become functional. And, of course, we've seen jumps in user bases. Some are suggesting he could do the same thing with cutting U.S. government spending. In fact, he's suggesting he could cut it by about $2 trillion at least, which would put us within the range of maybe starting to pay off our debt.
I need a passport.
Mr. Cecil. 16 سال. عمري ما حفظ.
همه داعش کردیم برابر خشک و دایکان یزدی ما کاری که دور لهمو چند که دموکراسی و موافقانی مرو و انسانیت او بارو بخیر که استهیا و طیبت ایران خوشبولی ازش که دگره که و حالانه که اداره اوباما